Greetings, this is Homestead and Rental. We figured we'd give you a garden update. Today is June 6th. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny and about noon. We've been having rain off and on every day or so. I figured we'd start right here under the shade of this cherry tree. And we've got 30 tomato plants from this post to that post, and they go to right here. And there's 30 of them in that line there, and we planted them at two separate times. They're actually all the same seedlings, but we gave the first set on this side here an extra 2 weeks in the ground before we planted the other ones. They were slated to go to a couple in our congregation, the seedlings, and they ended up taking a long vacation, and I couldn't just let them sit for any longer, so I planted most of them, and I repotted 2 of them for them, not knowing how many they wanted. So those 30 are all heirloom. Unfortunately, my cups, back when I was doing the seedlings, they all got mixed up, so I'm not actually 100% sure which ones are which, but all the tomato seeds I use are heirloom right now. Then the next 2 posts here, 3 posts, 1, 2, 3, those are all peppers, and that's green peppers, jalapeno peppers, and cayenne peppers. Then just past them are the broccoli. They're doing pretty good. They're not as far along as I'd like them to be, but they are growing. My in-laws just had their first picking of broccoli from the same plants that these are from. I think they got theirs in about a week earlier, but the broccoli was delicious. The next row here, well, you can see this is the tomatoes along here. And then the next row is zucchini. There's 3 zucchinis, 3 summer squashes, and then 3, I believe those are butternut mounds. And I just planted the butternut mounds. Just past them, I did plant some okra on this back corner right here. I don't think the okra was any good, though. Only got 1 or 2 of them that sprouted. And I had actually soaked them for I think 2 days to try and get them to germinate. I don't think they took, but I did find them at the bottom of one of my seed caches. So I don't know if they were even any good to begin with. I might just go back down to the store in a couple of days, buy some, and then just heavily feed them for a bit. Just past them, I have the beans, and those are pole beans, and that's a pole bean teepee with sunflower seeds growing up through the center of it, sunflowers. I wanted something pretty in it, and I figured when they get a bit bigger, I'll end up putting them probably 1 head out on each side here if I can grow them out that ways a bit. I do have sunflowers on each of these posts here, and I have to add some more netting to this. This was only some I think goat fencing or something I found here on the property when we moved in. And then just past them are some volunteer spaghetti squash. I love spaghetti squash. I'm glad those 2 came in. I normally plant those by seed. The seed I have are amazing. They're an heirloom variety, and they grow awesome every year. And these are actually spaghetti squash that got put in the compost. Somehow the seeds, instead of getting put with the chicken feed, they got put in with the compost, and they never got taken out. So they got put in there, and I'm not sure how it got in here, but it did. So yeah, yes, volunteers. Just past them, I did plant 2 kinds of corn. I don't know if the corn's going to actually come up. The seed was old. I hope it does, but I don't have real high hopes for it. There is an open space just past there, right through here. And then just past that is my trellis with my cucumbers. I lost most of my cucumbers in a really heavy rain. Literally, the water comes and runs right down the whole edge of the property here. And if you can see this new ditch, we just put this new ditch in with my father-in-law's Kubota tractor. It was a bit more shallow, and it literally ran right through my whole cucumber patch. I do heavily plant cucumbers. My wife and I eat some of them, but they're mainly for the congregation that we go to. A lot of the older folks there just love them. So hopefully we'll still get a bunch, and I will be able to bring those along. Just past there, I have potatoes. And these are all just Shaw's potatoes. I buy a 10-pound bag of them for like $4. And I let them sprout, and then I just put them in the ground. I was told they're not supposed to do that, but this is how I've been doing it for 6 years. I have bought seed potato before. I find that it's a bit expensive, and for what I do, it's not really worth it. I can buy potatoes cheaper here than I can grow them for the most part. I like growing them that way. I can have some baby potatoes with my new green beans when they start really producing. And I'll just pull out a hill or two at a time, and we'll eat potatoes that are the size of big marbles to the size of golf balls or so for new potatoes, and we just love them. Just past them, there's 3 rows of onions, 2 yellow and a single red. I actually don't weed in through there. I have before, and it just seemed like I was taking out as many onions as I was the weeds. They don't stay in there very long either. I pull a lot of those with our salads and salad greens, and we just chop them up and eat them that way. Just past those were garlic seeds that I bought. They were supposed to be Amish, and they were supposed to be really, really good seeds. I had those for 2 years, I think. They were also in my seed cache. And when I took them out to start planting them, most of them were so dried out that I don't even think there was a kernel left. It was just mainly powder. So I wasn't happy about that. I will this fall pick up some organic garlic. I'll probably make another run into the city. I'm working on my flea marketing and auction business a little bit right now while I'm still out of work. I got to make a little bit of cash, and the government says I'm allowed to make a certain amount. So that's what I'm working on right now, and I end up in the city about once a month for doctor's appointments with my wrist and all that, being out of work for the last 6 months or so. So when we go into town, we try and hit some yard sales or an auction if we can, and I'll just hit Whole Foods while we're there, and I'll pick up some organic garlic. Just past those are the Brussels sprouts. There are 9 of those, and they are coming along quite well. What I do with those is I let the grass grow in with it, and then I take all of my grass clippings and I mulch just around those with the grass clippings. Those I put in first thing this spring, and I am trying to grow the largest Brussels sprouts that I have had. I've had some up in Vermont that were 4 feet tall, and that was all with composted grass and bagged cow manure that I purchased up in Vermont, and did those in my first raised beds. So that's what I'm doing this year with these. I'm letting them grow a bit longer and a bit more before I really start putting the composted manure and the grass clippings on them. Probably this next time I mow, I'll just clean it up a bit. But yeah, this is our garden right now. You don't see any salad greens and lettuce and that kind of stuff. We did plant some. It didn't come up. So I've got a little 2.5 gallon wash bin, one of the stainless steel ones, up next to the house, and I've actually got a small container garden growing in that, and I've also got one in a bag of soil, and I'm just growing some of the seeds that I had left. I am going to purchase new seeds this next year. I'll probably buy another one of the prepper caches and actually do the same thing I did before and just start using those. I love the amaranth that I had that I grew. I ended up with a 1/4 pound off of one amaranth plant. I didn't plant any of that this year, basically because I don't want it to spread throughout my entire garden here. But I do want to plant some more of it. I'm going to make a play area up over here for my daughter, and then I was actually thinking about putting a couple of small raised beds, like 2 foot by 4 foot, or 2 foot by, well, 3 foot probably. That way I could put 2 side by side and a few feet long. That way I could grow a few, just to show everybody on YouTube. It's an old grain. I am gluten intolerant, so I have to watch how much actual flour I have. So I end up eating quite a bit of amaranth and quinoa. I seem to tolerate that pretty good. But you can see the tomato plants, they're getting ready to get staked. We are going to do the Florida weave with them this year. And I have actually made this video much longer than I thought I would. So we'll probably end it here. It is June 6th. I figured I would show you how the garden looks. She's looking good. She's looking pretty good right now. And the next time you see it, I will probably have started to pull a few of the potatoes with some of the green beans to eat. When the potatoes are done and the onions are done, I will probably plant that to fall squash, and probably another bed of zucchini and another bed of summer squash. I like to try and get two sets of plants. I possibly may try 3 this year, so that way I have zucchini and summer squash all the way up until frost. We love eating it, and we freeze a bunch of it, and then we'll actually give quite a bit away too. We've had some hard times here, not on this place, but when we first moved down here, and things were real tight, and some of the friends in our congregation helped us out quite a bit, and all they had asked us to do was to help out when we could. Well, I got a bunch of garden stuff here, and if I do it right, it'll be more than we can eat. So then I'll get to help out too myself. So if you're watching these videos and you've got a little extra room, plant an extra row and give it to a food bank or somebody that you know is having a hard time. As long as they actually will cook the vegetables that you give them, I'm sure they'd be grateful. So that's Homestead and Rental, over and out. I hope you're all doing well, and greetings from a beautiful day here in North Carolina. Thanks for watching. Please give us a subscription if you haven't subscribed, a thumbs up, and a comment if you would. We love hearing from y'all. We've got people that watch us in all different areas of the world, and I like hearing from y'all, especially those in places like India. I didn't even know we had folks watching us there, and that's one of our larger demographics. I think it's actually number 5. So just a shout out to any and all of you. Like to see and hear from you. So give us a comment, and definitely hit that like button. Thank you, and have a good day.